Breaking news, or is it? Another dinner, another story. Another flag we weren't supposed to notice. We just report what's on the floor. Pull up to the dinner table, cameras lined up right. Somebody said there was a threat that particular night. And I ain't saying nothing happened, I ain't saying it didn't. But the timing of the story got me reading between the sentences. Candles on the table, crystal glass, fine wine. They said a man was lurking somewhere close to the dine, and security was present, whole perimeter locked down. But somehow every single detail leaked before the sun went down. Now that's suspicious, not the threat but the leak. How the narrative assembled itself within a week. First it was confirmed, then it was allegedly. Then the source was close to the matter. Conveniently, another red flag flapping in the media breeze. Somebody cut the story and served it up with ease. I'm not the one who wrote the script, I just read what I see. Another dinner mystery wrapped in a press release. Another red flag, another planet seed. Another breaking story nobody bothered to read twice. Another unnamed source, another midnight brief. Another carefully timed leak, yeah, that's the price. We sitting here at the table trying to figure out who arranged the candles and who blew the story out. Another red flag waving in the light of day. The spin cycle started before the plates were cleared away. Now let's talk about the pattern, cause the pattern don't lie. Every time the polling drops, a threat appears nearby. I studied 20 cycles going back to the archive files. The proximity of danger always peaks at crucial miles. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I got receipts. I'm cross-referencing timelines with the actual feeds. The media move faster than the investigation could, like they already had the headline drafted in the neighborhood. Who benefits from fear? Who benefits from the moment? Who needs a story running when the other stories were potent? These are just questions, civil, fair, and clean. But the anchor on the TV said don't read too much into things. Which is funny cause that anchor works for someone's interest, and someone's interest pays the bills and covers the address. So when they say don't read too much, I read a little more. That's when I found the footnote they buried on the floor. Let me be clear for the algorithm's sake. I am not alleging, I am observing. There is a difference between a fact and a narrative. And somebody has been very busy serving narrative with garnish. The man was allegedly there, allegedly is doing heavy lifting. The timeline was allegedly clear, allegedly keep shifting. The source was allegedly solid, allegedly unnamed. The threat was allegedly real, allegedly unframed. Dark humor incoming, don't get mad at the punchline. They scared the whole country on a Tuesday before bedtime. Ratings went up, approval ticked, the story led the cycle. Meanwhile the actual bill they passed that day, it was vital. But nobody talked about the bill, the dinner got the airtime. They served us fear with breadsticks on a perfectly set prime time. Now I respect the process. Let the agents do their work. I want the system functioning, I don't want nobody hurt. But accountability ain't a threat to the investigation. It's the baseline of a functioning democratic nation. So why the press conference before the case was closed? Why the unnamed sousing with the cinematic prose? Why the 3-day media cycle on an unconfirmed event? Why confirmed documents got buried in the basement cement? Another red flag doesn't mean the fire isn't real. It means somebody's controlling how we process what we feel. Fear is a commodity, it's been traded since day one. And somebody rang the register before the evening was done. Another red flag, one more planet seed. Another unnamed briefing nobody chose to trace. Another carefully curated midnight narrative, moving at the speed of spin across your feet and face. We not saying it was staged, we saying read the footnote. We not saying it was fake, we saying check the timestamps. We not saying trust nobody, we saying trust the process. And the process says investigate before the story camps. Another red flag, we read what they buried. Another dinner plate. We just report what's on the floor. Yeah. Yeah. La na 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 na. Yeah. Let me rewind the tape back to the actual evening. They said a man was close, but close is always leaving room for interpretation, room for the dramatic, room for the producer who needed something cinematic. Because a boring Thursday doesn't sell the advertisement. A boring Thursday doesn't move the needle on engagement. But a threat near the dinner table, now that's a teaser. Now that's the kind of content that the algorithm features. So they packaged up the danger with the breathless correspondent standing outside a building being professionally despondent. We can't confirm the details, but our sources say tonight somebody wrote that script in a building with fluorescent light. And I'm watching from the outside with the notepad and a question. Where was the same urgency during every other session? Where was the breaking banner when the documents dropped? Where was the breathless correspondent when the audit got stopped? Selective urgency, that's the technical term. When story fits the narrative. The cameras all confirm when the story breaks the narrative. The cameras find a wall and the breaking news alert goes quiet down the hall. Another red flag, different night, same season. The spin machine doesn't sleep, it just changes its reason. It just changes its reason. Yeah. Now here's the dark comedy, buckle in, it's uncomfortable. The threat was unconfirmed, but the fear was fully functional. The fear moved markets, moved opinions, moved the conversation from what was happening in the here into a dinner reservation. Somebody at that table had their food get cold while the media was heating up a story being sold. And the irony of eating while the country was afraid is the kind of poetic detail that a satirist gets paid. I'm not the villain in the story, I'm the footnote reader. I'm the one who checks the timestamp on the press release leader. I'm the one who noticed that the story broke at 9 p.m. right when a competing headline needed somewhere else to send. Coincidence? Maybe, probably, could be, but probably and maybe built a media industry, and that industry is running on the premium of fear. 24/7 coverage of a threat that may not clear, so they keep the banner running, developing situation while the situation's developing into a subscription to anxiety, monthly billing, auto renew, and we sitting here refreshing like there's nothing else to do. Let me talk about the pattern one more time before the hook. Every major distraction has a story if you look. Not a hidden villain pulling levers in the bag, just an ecosystem built to push the narrative on track. The platform needs the engagement, needs the outrage, needs the click, the anchor needs the airtime, needs the segment, needs the pick, the campaign needs the moment, needs the optics, needs the shift, and the unnamed source needs cover. That's the ecosystem's gift. They all align in purpose without ever meeting once. The invisible committee of the media's response. No conspiracy required when incentives do the work. When fear pays better than the truth gets heard. And the man at the dinner, real or rumor, doesn't matter now. The story already moved 3 news cycles somehow. The original allegation buried under the wave. The follow-up investigation sitting in a digital grave. I wanna be careful here, because careful matters. I'm not the judge, I'm not the jury, I'm the one asking
why the candles were lit before the fire was confirmed.
Why the press was briefed before the threat was discerned. Because those are fair questions in a functioning republic. Not radical, not reckless, just the baseline of the public's right to ask the timeline, right to check the sequence, right to not accept the dinner story as the evening's thesis. So here we are again, another cycle, another flag, another story flapping like a media body bag, filled with half-confirmed suspicion in a breathless live report, and the country scrolling sideways looking for a different chord. We don't know what happened at the dinner, that's the honest answer. We know the story moved too fast to be a casual glance, we know the timing was convenient for a specific narrative. We know the footnotes tell a different story comparative, so read the footnotes, check the timestamps, cross-reference the feeds, ask who benefits from the story and who planted the seeds. Not because the world is always staged, it isn't and we know it, but because the spin machine exists and somebody has to show it. Another red flag, we read what they buried. Another dinner cold plate, we just report what's on the floor. Another unnamed source, we trace the name back to the door. Iran, BNN, part 2 still broadcasting. The dessert was served.